All right, everybody. As all of you guys know, the right has been making sort of a mad dash to destroy any semblance of rights in this country held by trans people. And their end game has always been to essentially choke out all ability for trans people, particularly in the states they have hard, solid control of, from actually having access to the life-saving, gender-affirming care that they need. They have basically tried to pull the same thing they've done with abortion, where they instill compromise bills that still effectively bar essentially every trans person in the state from getting treatment, and the politicians who are, behind these bills have not been quiet when it comes to their opinions on trans people and what they think should happen to them. The people who are making these bills are demonic. Now, before we get into all of this, I want to preface this all by showing you a really good little animation, or a very good little edited video, I guess, made by, I think it might have been made by SDL, but I'm not actually sure. SDL may not have made it, but I know SDL has popularized posting it. So I got the window open, it's blowing my curtains. And it's just, I love it. I love this, okay? There's no music here. I turned it off because the music is copyrighted, and it always causes a problem for my editor, but no problem here. We're going to go ahead and watch this little clip, and I think it'll express to you assuming you want to pause each little bit and read them, you really don't have to get the general idea of what's being expressed here. There's basically a meme that just flashes, the scientific consensus on trans rights in front of you in roughly 28 seconds. It's very good.
The answer my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The answer my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A voice that compels all to rebel from all unshackled minds. It's you and me, your mom, it's me. I'll take another hit from my name. You'll see now. Watch me right now. Punch your face now.
I love that video. It really does go hard as fuck. So, when it comes to the kind of things the right is saying about trans people, and more specifically the legislators that are passing these bills are saying about trans people, it should be very obvious to you, not only do they not care about science, facts, reality, or frankly justice, but they're doing nothing but fighting for achieving death and destruction for a minority group they hate. A very good example of a conservative legislator making this clear was this recent speech made by Representative Barnaby of Florida. Let's go ahead and take a look at what he had to say about trans people.
I'm looking at society today, and it's like I'm watching an X-Men movie with people that, when you watch the X-Men movies for Marvel Comics, it's like we have mutants living among us on planet Earth.
Among us.
And, some people don't like that, but that's a fact. We have people that live among us today on planet Earth that are happy to display themselves as if they were mutants from another planet. This is the planet Earth, where God...
For those that don't know, the X-Men comics were explicitly made as an allegory for civil rights, and the mutants are meant to be are literally explicitly a minority group that is discriminated against, and it is framed as a bad thing. And the funny thing is, this isn't even weird. You know the first X-Men movie, the one where the villain is the Senator Scott Kelly guy, I think his name was, who pushes for the extermination of mutants? Conservatives at the time loved that character so much when the movie came out that a bunch of GOP events hired the actor out to go on stage and pretend to be the character because all of the right-wing politicians and the audience loved the character so much. That's not even a meme. You can actually Google it. I'm not joking. The GOP hired him out to play the genocidal, bigoted villain from the first X-Men movie because he was so popular at conservative galas and speaking events for the GOP. I think his name was Senator Scott Kelly is the character's name. You can literally Google this. It's real. It's actually fucking real. So yeah, this does not surprise me that they would see a piece of media that's that explicitly pro not, hurting minorities because of how they were born, and then side with the people who are in favor of hurting minorities because of how they were born.
God created men, male, and women, female.
Oh, let's go back and hear what he said real fast.
This is the planet Earth, where God created men, male, and women, female. I'm a proud Christian, conservative Republican. I'm not on the fence. Not on the fence.
Not on the fence.
There is so much darkness in our world today. So much.
Oh, and don't even think they don't have the level of darkness and corruption in them required to do evil things like they are, and then to play the sympathetic, sad, there's so much darkness in the world today, and it upsets me card, as they are actively fighting to genocide an entire group of people. They are truly that evil. They are truly that evil. This is sick, like just disgusting. Oh, reminder, by the way, he is speaking directly to LGBT students, children, and parents in the room at the moment. He is speaking to a crowd of LGBT protesters that have come to protest the bill that he is about to help push into legislation. The bill did pass.
Much evil in our world today. And so many people who are afraid to address the evil, the dysphoria, the dysfunction. I'm not afraid to address the dysphoria or the dysfunction. The Lord rebuke you, Satan, and all of your demons and all of your imps who come and parade before us.
He's referring to the children and the parents in the room that came to protest.
That's right. I called you demons and imps who come and parade before us and pretend that you are part of this world. So I'm saying my righteous indignation is stirred. I am sick and tired of this. I'm not going to put up with it. You can test me and try to take me on, but I promise you I'll win every time. Let's all vote up on this bill. Thank you.
And he did win. The bill passed. So you can see why it is so necessary to encourage trans people around the country to arm themselves, because those that are in power in many of these red states not only consider trans people a group that they are, in their opinion, don't deserve basic human rights, they see them as a demonic force of evil, or at least they claim they are. And the only solution to fight demons is to kill them, obviously. They are rallying their support base to be in favor of mass cullings. Arm yourself. Protect yourself. Self-defense is legal in this country. Defend yourself, defend your home. You are allowed to defend your property and your life with lethal force if it comes to it. So arm yourself so that you are capable of it if your life is threatened. Although, we've got a more recent clip, though. This one comes from just a couple days ago, and this is from a representative in Montana who is sponsoring an anti-trans bill, and they had this to say about trans people.
One of the big issues that we have heard today and we've talked about lately is that without surgery, the risk of suicide goes way up. Well, I am one of those parents who lived with a daughter who was suicidal for 3 years. Someone once asked me, wouldn't I just do anything to help save her? And I really had to think. And the answer was no. I was not going to give in to her emotional manipulation because she was incapable of making those decisions, and I had to make those decisions for her. I was not going to let her tear apart my family, and I was not going to let her tear apart me because I had to be strong for her. I had to have a vision for her life when she had none, was incapable of having none. I was lost. I was scared. I spent hours on the floor in prayer because I didn't know that when I woke up if my daughter was going to be alive or not. But I knew that I had to make those right decisions for her so that she would have a precious, successful adulthood at that time.
They would rather have a dead child than a trans child. This is true of the vast majority of conservative parents. Their child's safety and their life is not their top concern. Most trans children in this country with conservative parents cannot rely on what the vast majority of kids in this country can, which is the basic necessity being met that they have parents who are looking out for their best interests and trying to protect them. They do not get that because their parents have been brainwashed into a political cult that has convinced them their child is a victim of grooming. And that if they don't stop their child or allow their child to die by suicide, well, then their child might grow up to be a groomer themselves. And that can't be allowed, right? So better a dead child than a trans child. That is their logic. They are pure evil. The transphobia has led them to the point where they would rather see their own children dead than not be transphobic. This is not a valid political ideology. This is brainwashing, and it's evil.